Welcome back to MFO, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to take the opposing view. I've seen a couple of videos, quite honestly. One from my buddy Steve over at Get Your Fish On, another from Todd Castledine. Their videos had to do with this issue that occurred a couple of weeks ago on a qualifying event, the BFL, where one guy called another guy to try and get a fishing location while they were fishing the tournament, and then they polygraphed them, and one guy, the guy who made the call or the text or whatever, refused to take the polygraph, so he immediately got DQ'd. The other guy took the polygraph but failed it, indicating that he was being deceitful in some way, and so he got disqualified. He later appealed it and has won the appeal. And both Steve from Get Your Fish On and Todd are kind of looking at this like, hey, this is a vindication of the polygraph. It worked, and we got an appeal, and a new polygraph showed that he was telling the truth. I'm not there, and we're going to dig into the weeds a little bit more when we come back, and you see if you agree with where I'm at, or maybe I'm in the minority here, and this guy did the right thing, and everybody's good. But it gets twisted, I'll tell you that. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher. So I gave you the scenario of what happened. So again, this guy calls his buddy. They're both fishing the tournament. Calls or texts, hey, do you know where can I go to catch fish? This guy refuses to even take a polygraph, so he gets DQ'd. This guy gets polygraphed, and the polygraph came back that he was being deceitful about the situation, and so he got DQ'd. He goes back and appeals, takes another polygraph, and explains that it was this guy who asked him, hey, do you know where I can go to catch fish, or something of that sort? And this guy refused to answer, is what he says. And so now they do another polygraph, and the polygraph indicates that he's being truthful about that scenario. And so the tournament organization therefore says, okay, we're going to overturn the DQ. You didn't respond to this guy when he was asking you to cheat, and so therefore you're back in. You get your prize money, you get your qualification into the All-American and everything else. However, we are going to penalize you $500 or some kind of penalty because you knew of another angler that was cheating and you didn't come and report it. And that is a rule that we all live by in pretty much every tournament organization that I'm aware of, is that if I'm an angler and I see something, whether it's a co-angler or another angler doing something wrong, it is my job, it is my responsibility to report it. And so I have to do that as part of the rules. So he didn't do that, so therefore he got fined instead of disqualified for that. Okay. So on the surface, I can see where, okay, that's cool. And I can see where maybe Steve from Get Your Fish On said, hey, I applaud him for, going back and appealing it. It's the first time that an appeal has been made where he did the right thing, and he kind of gave up the information on this other guy. So kudos to him. Todd Castledine's take on it was, the lie detector worked, or the polygraph worked. It showed that there was some deceit. We don't know exactly what it was, but as in further review, we found out that it was around the idea that, hey, you got asked or solicited to cheat, but you didn't, so therefore you're okay. Why did that take 2 weeks or a month to happen? This is the question that I have. If I'm being polygraphed, and I know that a guy called me to to ask for information and I didn't. And then I get polygraphed and said, hey, did you cheat in any way? No, I didn't. And it comes up beeping saying, hey, you're being deceitful. At that point, right there, with the things hooked up to me, I go, well, there was this thing that did happen. Joe did call me and asked me to give him information, but I didn't. And by the way, here's my phone. You can see the text and you can see that I didn't. Instead, we're getting that information 2 weeks or more after the fact. That seems fishy to me, number one, but it could be true. I don't know. But the point is that how does that not get taken care of and talked about right there when you're being polygraphed and it indicates that it's coming up deceitful? And the answer is, or a potential answer is, that there was more to the story and you didn't have time to figure out how to deal with more to the story. And so after you got home and you kind of walked through what you could do and what you could say, then you got it. I don't know that happened, but what I don't understand is how would I cannot see myself or a person being hooked up to a polygraph machine saying, hey, did you do anything wrong? No, I didn't. It goes bing, 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 bing. And you go, well, I think this is probably about the fact that guy texted me and I'm in my head thinking about that. And instead, I'm just going to be quiet. To me, that doesn't make sense. And so maybe you're going, hey, I'm going to be quiet because I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to turn him in. At this point, I guess that's what I'm getting at, guys, is if it's a rule that you need to turn somebody in, and so you're going to you're going to say, I wasn't cheating, but I'm lying about the fact that I should have been turning him in, so I know I'm breaking that rule instead. It's pretty complicated, and that's what I'm getting at is the lie detector, and I keep using the term lie detector, the truth verification, the deception, the indicator of there being a deception. We don't know, that what it is that they're being deceptive about. You could think that based on the question, they're being deceptive about getting information, when in fact, maybe they're being deceptive about, I'm not telling you that I'm aware of somebody else who was attempting to get information, and I'm not telling you that. There's still a concept or an issue around deception there. It's just a deception about a different topic. I don't know that I'm going to applaud this guy for taking 2 weeks or 3 weeks to report this other angler. My assumption is that these guys are buddies. I don't know that for a fact. And again, everything I'm saying here, guys, this is an opinion. I'm not basing this on factual knowledge of things. I don't want you to consider this to be a news report. This is an opinion piece about the fact that I'm leaning more and more. We've done a lot of issues related to polygraphs in fishing and how all of these polygraphs are coming up showing that all of these guys are cheating. Like almost every time you do a polygraph, somebody's being DQ'd. The question is, I think there's a lot of non-legitimate things going on amongst anglers, and it's coming out. I mean, not blatant 100%, man, you're cheating like crazy, but little bending of the rules that when you get in a polygraph and you get that thing hooked up, if you're the kind of person who feels guilty at all about those little bending of the rules, you end up getting DQ'd. I don't know, and I've talked about this before too, which means that the real blatant hardcore cheaters who don't give a damn, they're the ones that are getting away with it, and the normal guys, the guys that feel guilty about little bending of the rules, they're the ones that are getting busted. And again, don't get me wrong, little bending of the rules is still a problem. People shouldn't do it, or there should be some way of, but if you can't judge it, then those little bending of the rules are the ones that are getting DQ'd and the other ones aren't. I just don't know that I'm willing to, applaud and, kind of give a lot of praise to a guy who 100% admitted that he violated a rule. What rule? He did not turn in his buddy or this guy that solicited information from him on the water. He knew that that was a violation. He obviously did because he failed the polygraph the first time. And he knew that that was the situation. And he knew that it was the situation and he didn't respond according to him. So he knew that he would be breaking a information rule if he responded. So he didn't. But he didn't tell the tournament director about it. And so that's a rule violation. And the reason he didn't tell the tournament director about it is still left up to interpretation. He could have a reason, but it's a questionable interpretation that we don't know the answer to. I'm not ready to put him on a pedestal. Not ready to DQ him, but I'm not ready to put him on a pedestal. And again, it leads to me thinking there's more that needs to be done. I'm curious as to what your thoughts are on this whole thing. Have you seen Todd's video on this topic or Steve's over at Get Your Fish On? Go and check those out for sure. I appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow for another episode of Mark Fisher Outdoors. Hey, we got our first Food Friday tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. You're going to want to pay attention. Have a pen and pencil ready to get that recipe. It's going to be kind of fun, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.